Good afternoon and welcome. This is, for those of you who have not been to a club assembly before, an exciting way to learn more about Rotary. I always remember as a Rotarian, some of the club assemblies were kind of dull. I think this is going to be a better club assembly, and you'll be glad to hear from some of our chairs. The quote of the day, and by the way, thanks for Alon Barker for standing in for me last week. We had a great trip to visit family in Utah, and I heard he did a great job, and our speaker was wonderful. So Alon, you always keep up the great work for Rotary. Yeah, let's give him a hand. The quote for the day: great opportunities to help others seldom come, but small ones surround us every day. Sally Cook. Now for our reflection, John Dilts, past president of this great organization. John?
Well, thank you. Hey, good afternoon. My name is John Dilts, and I'm the chair of your Peace Building Committee. So let's talk about peace. As part of my Rotary peace building concerns, I've been reading a book written by a lawyer who practices law here in Bloomington. His name is Sam Artery. You may know him. Among other things, Sam is a registered civil mediator. His biography says he's mediated more than 3,000 civil lawsuits. So this is a town where there's a lot of mediation going on, apparently. A lot of civil lawsuits going on, apparently. Then he wrote a book about it. It's called Positively Conflicted: Engaging with Courage, Passion, and Wisdom in a Combative World. It's a kind of autobiography / instruction manual about how to build peace within yourself and with others. He writes about what he has learned from his personal failures and from his professional success. And the result is a little surprising, and it's a little counterintuitive. He suggests, and I've heard this from others, that being right is highly overrated. He says that the best way to engage in conflict is to choose to meet it calmly with humility and compassion. And doing that will disarm your opponent and will save a lot of energy. I want to share just one passage with you. This is Sam. Humility and compassion are not at the top of my mind when someone close to me has done something I think is unfair. Being humble about my conclusions and generous toward them are at the bottom of the list. But humility allows me to open to the possibility that I might be wrong and permits me to consider the other person's point of view more generously. And compassion encourages me to remember that we all do the best we can. And sometimes our best is not very good. In short, humility allows me to listen, and compassion allows me to connect. Choosing to prioritize humility and compassion when deeply engaged in conflict may be the single best thing I can do. This choice doesn't guarantee my hoped for outcome, but it does set me up for a greater chance of sustaining relationships and lowering my blood pressure.
Thanks, John. It sounds like an exciting book. Now to introduce our guest, Sally Gaskell, another past president.
Thank you, Ron. We have two guests here in the frangipani today. Tom Gallagher. Tom, will you please stand and give a wave? And are you a guest of Charlotte? Yes? Guest of Tracy. You didn't actually sign in. I had to improvise. Okay. Oh, fantastic. Okay. And Max Tortoriello. Love saying that. Thank you. Guest of Hannah Hirsch. Max is a photographer. We love having you both. Do we have anyone on Zoom?
Hi, Sally and everyone. It is all Rotarians on the Zoom call. Thrilled to be here.
Thank you, Kyla.
Thanks, Sally. We need some more volunteers for Lake Monroe Day, and Joff's going to come up and give a pitch again. We have a couple spots that need to be filled. And again, for our community service committee, this is an important project. So.
Thank you very much and good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. We do, as Ron mentioned, we do need a few more volunteers for Lake Monroe Week. In terms of the slots we have, as of just a few minutes ago, it looks like we need 2 cleanup volunteers down at the lake from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. On Thursday. We need, we need a registration volunteer on Sunday at the Upland from 5:30 to 7:30. And then 2 teardown volunteers from 8:30 to 9:30 on Sunday. We also have a pontoon boat ride. That's not really a volunteer activity, but it's not full yet on Monday from 4 to 7. But please, if you can possibly help out, either cleaning up on Thursday or registration tabling or tear down on Sunday, please let me know. I'll be here for a few minutes after the meeting. We can get you signed up. There was a sign up genius sent around earlier, but probably just easier to tell me and we'll get you on the list. So thank you very much.
And we have some birthdays. On September 10th, Jimmy Torrey celebrated a birthday. And today we have several birthdays. Alon Barker, birthday. Wendell St. John, a birthday. And here's a guy, I'm going to tell you a secret. You wouldn't guess it by looking at him, but he's 92 years old today. Stand up, take a bow for the group. And Betsy Trotsky, also today. Member anniversaries, Byron Banger, 24 years with our club and 38 years total Rotarian. So way to go, Byron. Happy dollars. This is a time to be happy and share your dollars with Teacher Warehouse and your happiness with the club.
Good morning, fellow Rotarians. I am happy. As you know, last weekend was Blackie Brown Arts Festival out at Switchyard Park. Had great attendance, had a couple Rotarians, we had a table. So it was a great event. So I have $5 for Teachers Warehouse. And I'd also want to announce that many of you are aware of the DEI efforts that we're making. And one thing I'll focus on, let's talk about inclusion. Inclusion don't mean everybody comes. What it means is that our doors are open so that everybody can come. And that's one of the things that we worked really, really hard at as a club. And so I've made a $200 donation to the DEI fund to help those efforts. And I would be so thrilled if other folks would jump on board and do the same thing like we did the first time when Dr. Hadawi did it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. Craig had his hand up.
Oh, so diversity.
Equity and inclusion. Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Sally.
I too want to thank Jim as well as Jimmy and Patrick for being at the Rotary table on Saturday at Blackie Brown. It was a terrific event. And here's $5 to Teachers Warehouse. And I don't have 200 on me for the DEI fund, but if I did, I would follow Jim there as well. It's a standing committee of our club, for those of you who don't know. Yeah.
All right. Peggy. Yes, I've got $5 happy dollars and another $5 happy dollars for two things. One is that I survived a 12-day bike and barge trip in the Netherlands, which was absolutely awesome, and I recommend it to everybody. And also then I got to spend 2.5 weeks with family, including 2 grandsons, 10 and 12, and a 6-month-old granddaughter. Oh, I love her. So, and I'm happy to provide that to Teachers Warehouse, but watch out, I'm back and we're gonna get the Rotary Foundation committee rolling.
Anyone online while we're looking in here? Kyla, anyone online?
Yes, Jeff
Yeah.
Richardson. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you. I'm here in Washington, DC. I just want to compliment Jim and Sims and others for their work, and I'd like to just match his $200 donation, and I'll send a check to Natalie. The check's in the mail, so.
Okay, before I get going, volunteer for Lake Monroe Week and get a cool hat like this that I got. But I actually have $5 that is in order to honor the happiness of Amina Mohammadi, who yesterday drove on the open road for about 3 miles. She's graduated from practice driving with her learner's permit in neighborhoods and now has driven on a road. So she'll be driving more on the road. And I am looking for, the refugee committee is looking for more volunteers that will help her with driving, okay? I see
Thanks, Dave.
volunteers all around me.
Yeah, Dad wasn't good with me. I wouldn't recommend it.
I,
Thank you. Oh, Charlotte, one more?
I give $20 to the which one? To the DEI fund, and in honor of my sister and her daughters and my daughter and her daughter who visited me this weekend. And that was a real treat. And I got a word in edgewise.
thank you, Charlotte. Got one more back here.
Good afternoon. I want to march the DEI fund in honor of my 1-year anniversary here at the IU Bloomington. I am the Associate Dean for Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging. So I will put in my $200.
Thank you. I'm going to also add $20 in honor of the fact that this last weekend, Cheryl and I celebrated our 58th year anniversary. And also in honor of that, I will also go $200 to the DEI fund.
Whoa. I almost hate to stop. Anyone else? All right.
I want to give some happy dollars in honor of Ivy Tech, who over the last number of years, every year, has remembered the 9/11 attack. And it was in the paper yesterday morning that you could go at 8:30 and see one of the timbers or from the original 9/11. And so I thank Ivy Tech for reminding us of that terrible day yesterday. Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to make an announcement, and thank you for all of you participating in the Happy Dollars and also following up with any contribution to our DEI fund. Tyler reminded me that the Jacob Symphony Orchestra is going to have a performance tomorrow night at the MAC at 8. And he would love to look out and see some of your smiling faces at this wonderful concert. I also want to quickly thank the members of this club that joined me as a part of the district training session at Ivy Tech last Saturday. Joy Harder, Jeff Richardson, Jim Bright, Lance Everly, and Tracy John Von Pitch. So thank you for participating. Now, all what you've been waiting for, our club assembly. A couple things before I ask our committee chairs to come up and share the important work that's going on in the committees, is to remind you that this fall, we're going to embark upon a strategic plan. I've already sent out the strategic plan to the chairs and asked that they respond, and I'm inviting them to the board meeting on the 21st, where we're going to decide what we do next. And we have the guru of strategic planning, Michael Shermas, going to help us through this. And again, he's helped several organizations throughout the country and throughout the city do that. I'm going to send the plan, the older plan, to all of you today. And I'd like to have you take a look at it. You don't have to do it today or tonight, but over the next couple of days, if you have some insights you want to share with me and the club, I'll be glad to share them with the directors and with the committee chairs as we move forward. So this is a very important process. As I've said before, a plan says it gives us direction as to where we're going. Without a plan, any road will get us there. We want to have a significant plan so we're not blown off course with some crazy idea. We're staying on course with this plan. So this is important. So thank you for looking at it and responding back to all of us. Now, for having some of our esteemed committee chairs, I'd like to ask Sarah Laughlin to join me to talk about community service, one of our very important committees.
Hi, everybody. Before I do that, I just wanted to give us a brief word about the culture of Rotary and this club. I've learned that the Rotary culture is different than most work environments I've experienced. You know, where when there's a need for someone to step up and lead something, everyone averts their eyes and sits on their hands. In Rotary, some people say there's only one chance to say no, and that's when you're invited to join. And of course, you can't always say yes. I know that. You've got a job, you've got family and other obligations, but I've made it my practice to try to say yes whenever I possibly can. And it has reaped enormous benefits for me personally. So community service is at the heart of Rotary. It's the heart of service above self, the Rotary International motto, and our club's vision. And here it is. A diverse, engaged community of leaders, that's you all, whose fellowship and service have a significant positive impact locally and globally. And you know, we've worked hard on that vision over the last several years. We're not there yet, but we really are focused on that, on all the pieces of that. So will the members of the Community Service Committee please stand? I think we have 20 members this year, not all here, but please stand up if you're a member of the committee. And the way we roll on this committee is that we have a lot of events and opportunities for you over the year, and we ask everybody on the committee to take one and be the lead person on that one so that we're spreading the load and we can do more. Jeff Richardson, our co-chair, couldn't be here today, but he's there on Zoom, I think, and he's going to be a great addition to our leadership. As the committee, our job is to plan activities that will bring that significant positive impact and to engage our club in carrying them out. But we can't be the only ones to show up and participate. We need lots of you to help us. President Ron has challenged us to plan 10 activities this year. And so here's what we've got so far. Number 1, Teachers Warehouse Supply Drive, July 22nd. Check. We made $12,000 in supplies and 26 volunteers from our club participated. Hoosier Hills Food Bank, July 28th, with the Duke Energy volunteers. 14 volunteers from our club. Number 3, Teachers Warehouse weekly, monthly, and occasional volunteers. Our club covers the second Saturday mornings of every month from August to May, and we can always use help then or during the week after school when the warehouse is open. And coming up this week, you've already heard, about our district grant project with the Friends of Lake Monroe, supported by $3,000 from our club and $3,000 matching grant from District 6580. As you know, Lake Monroe is the water supply for 130,000 households in this area, in this region, and clean water is also a Rotary International area of focus. We still need volunteers, as Jeff pointed out to you. And because this is our district grant project, it's particularly important that we show up and do a good job. And we're partnering with the Friends of Lake Monroe and the Lake Monroe Water Fund. Michelle Cohen, who is a member of our club, is leading that effort along with Jeff McKim. So there's all kinds of things to do. As you heard from Jeff, there's pickup on the beach if you want to really be down at the lake. There's sitting at a registration table or helping to close down at the end of their celebration at Upland Brewery. That doesn't sound like too tough duty. And then there's the pontoon ride. Now, how that's community service, I don't really know, but it sounds, I guess it's because we're going down there to see the lake and build appreciation for the lake and awareness of what it means to our community. So if you want to do that through a pontoon ride, why not? October 22nd is our next one. That's trash pickup on Pete Ellis Drive, which, you know, does sound like a lot of bending over and not much fun. But what we've found over the years is that it's pretty clean. The merchants there keep the area pretty clean. We usually find something really interesting in the course of the day, unexpected and interesting. And we end up at the Jiffy Treat. So there is that. Saturdays in December is bell ringing for the Salvation Army, another longtime club project. We stand inside the Kroger East Side atrium in 1 hour shifts. It's not very demanding, and ask people to donate to the kettles, which support the funds which support children and families in our community. A new project in January this year to collect supplies for the IU Emergency Pantry. We're excited about this opportunity to work with IU, our host for our meetings every week, and also to work with Rotaract. So you'll hear more about that later. In February, we'll return to the Hoosier Hills Food Bank for the winter packing. This is their most challenging month as donations and volunteers dry up after the holidays. So our participation is particularly important. We're still working on an April event, but we hope that it's going to be a community convening under the visionary leadership of our co-chair, Jeff Richardson. In May, we'll partner again with the other two Bloomington Rotary Clubs to host the third It Takes a Village resource fair for high poverty, pregnant, and new moms. We are playing a small part in reducing Indiana's high maternal and infant mortality rate. You know, we're fourth highest in the country, or fourth worst in the country in those areas. So we need everybody to help. Keep an eye out for call outs for volunteers at club meetings, and you'll see the links usually for Sign Up Genius in the roundabout, and please say yes whenever you can. And the fringe benefits for you? Well, first of all, there's the hat. You know, you saw several people here wearing the hats today. This is this year's theme hat for Rotary, and if you participate in a community service project this year, we'll make sure you get a hat. And our pictures will be so branded, won't they? But the other benefits are networking, fellowship, learning, and fun. You can meet people at our weekly luncheons, but you really get to know them when you're working side by side. So we hope to see you there. With all of us working together, we can create a diverse, engaged community of leaders whose fellowship and service have a significant positive impact locally and globally. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. And Jeff, for your leadership. Now, international services, Steve Wicks. Very good. Alon, you can do them both while you're up here then.
Thanks.
So Steve Wick sends his very, very best wishes. He's traveling right now and he asked me to present a few things to you. But before I do so, I just want to thank John Dill so much for that reflection earlier on. That was really quite remarkable. And it ties into something very special that's happening this weekend. The Sibling City USA Town Hall that you got an email about recently is the culmination in a lot of work that talks about communication across boundaries, differences in communities and what have you. So if you want to get involved in that, that is a Rotary sponsored and Rotary involved event as well. So I just wanted to remind you about that on Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. Also, Ron, that haircut makes you 10 years younger, and that's no magic that I have. I'm not capable of doing that sort of trick on myself. You look great. Welcome back. Okay, so the international report. I first of all want to just start with who's on the committee, because these are amazing people. Joanna Rotich, who's here, Brian Price, Raj Hadawi, myself, Dave Meyer, Bryce Bowe, Charlotte Zietlow, Steve Wicks as our chair, Erica Kovacs, and Winston Shitandi. So it's an amazing group of people. And we've been in discussion about two major initiatives. As you know, probably the international community completed a very major set of activities in the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Henk Hejema has now left the club, and so we're sort of doing a reset. And along the way, we were thinking, okay, so what would an international project look like that perhaps ties the Bloomington Rotary Club to Indiana University, but also potentially something that would grow over time to have significance beyond our borders, perhaps with our sibling city friends over in Palo Alto, but then even maybe Rotary International might pick up on it. And the thing that's bubbled to the top is a relationship, a collaboration with AMPATH. So the International Committee voted unanimously recently to suggest and support a 3-year, $30,000 project with AMPATH in connection with the Rotary Club of Eldoret, Kenya. Now, I should mention that Joanna Rotich is from Kenya, and so is Wilson Shitandi. And Jeff Richardson, is also connected to AMPATH, as is Joanna. So we have a really nice sort of synchronization of people who are already associated with this project potentially. So AMPATH stands for Academic Modeling, the academic model providing access to healthcare. It's a nice acronym, and it has to come with words, I guess. AMPATH is a partnership between the Moi University School of Medicine, the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, Kenya's second national referral hospital, and a consortium of US medical schools led in Kenya by Indiana University. This is a project that's been growing over the last 15 years or so that is truly world-class and extraordinary in so many different ways, and recently has been expanding to include a number of universities and locations around the world. So it's a really good time for us to get involved. The Bloomington Rotary Club board has asked the International Committee to explore this idea further and flesh out the proposal, which we will be presenting to them. With that in mind, the International Committee members have been in contact with AMPATH representatives from Indianapolis, the Rotary Club of Eldoret in Kenya. Our committee envisions that the project, if approved, will mesh with existing AMPATH efforts and meet a small healthcare need as identified by AMPATH and or the Rotary Club of Eldoret. So that's sort of the concept that's developing right now, and we were asking the club to support it, $10,000 per year for 3 years running, and we hope that during that time, we will be able to gather enough momentum to be able to develop grants and support from any number of other sources. The Bloomington Rotary Club board has also asked the International Committee to explore and further flesh out, I'm going to jump to the next one. I'm reading a paragraph that I read. So the International Committee is supporting efforts by the Youth Services Committee to reactivate the club's International Youth Exchange Program, something that has not been with us for a while. This program has been dormant for approximately 10 years. Several club members met with our district youth coordinator after the past meeting, while other club members attended the district youth program at Ivy Tech this past weekend. So our hope is that between the two committees, our club as a whole and possibly members from the two other clubs in Bloomington will develop a core group of committed local Rotarians who will step forward to plan, guide, and execute this worthy endeavor. So wouldn't that be amazing if that came to be once again? That is my International Committee report for now, and I'll be rejoining you in a while to talk about communications. Thanks.
I mean, if you're not excited by some of the things going on, then we need to give you a shot in the arm because this is exciting stuff. To talk about our DEI committee work, Patrick Smith, chair of this committee.
Good afternoon. Well, this certainly lends to a different perspective when you're standing up here in front of all these folks. Okay, well, first of all, I'm very happy to be here and having taken over for Jim, who's our former committee chair. This is quite an honor. First of all, I just want to say, again, thank you to Jim for having confidence in me to bring me on board. And I do think this is very important work. I figured what I would do is start with some ideas that encapsulate the mission and purpose of the DEI committee. And before I even move on, anyone on the DEI committee who's presently here, I want you to stand and be acknowledged, please. And let's give them a round of applause, please. So, first of all, we endeavor to promote emphasis on inclusion and welcoming African-American potential club members. Support efforts to recruit and maintain a more diverse membership. Expand and encourage the club's involvement with minoritized organizations in Bloomington and Monroe County. Work with the program committee to identify and invite speakers capable of addressing issues of diversity and inclusivity in American culture and history. And then also assess the impact of the committee's progress over time by establishing benchmark parameters measured by candid responses to our four-way test. And this is really essential because all of these goals are very congruent and complement the overall goals of Rotary. And that four-way test is the primary way in which we're going to measure our progress. And almost forgot to say Raj Hadawi, who was very instrumental in providing funding for the DEI committee. Some of the ideas he put forth, as well as him and Jim and some of the other committee members. I think I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that. And speaking of the fund, I think we did have $500 actually. We had $500 in our coffers. But now that has increased to $1,300 thanks to Jim and the emotional effect that he had on everyone else. And it's also important to say that while we have a DEI committee, the responsibility for assisting and diversifying our club is really everyone's responsibility. We all have a role and a part to play for that. So in terms of vision, I'm focusing on 4 C's. You have the ABCs, well, I'm just gonna go with 4 C's. So we have community, communication, collaboration, and coordination. And as far as starting with community, our goal is to have university community outreach improvement efforts among our diverse individuals in our community to identify them as potential members. Also we will consider reaching out to other community agencies and organizations, including employers, to solicit potential members to help expand our club. Include younger diverse audience as recruitment targets, if you will, to inform them early on about Rotary and at least create a spark in them that may influence their decision to join. And they may not join this club, but if they join another Rotary club, that would be outstanding. And I say that just because of the importance of the club and what we contribute to human development And also increase a tabling presence in community events and activities. As an example, this past weekend, we had actually had a table at the Blackie Brown Community Arts Festival. And we had a wonderful stream of individuals who stopped by, both young and old, who showed some interest in our club or in Rotary, asking questions. And that was a great opportunity for us to inform them about our mission and what it is that we do. On the 16th, this coming weekend, Fiesta del Antonio, we will also be tabling at that community event to inform people about Rotary. And I want to give a shout out to Jimmy Torrey, who actually came up with the ideas. And I think that was a really great idea for having some tabling opportunity at some of our community events. Communication. Marketing Rotary, we need to market Rotary more and more by increasing our presence and participation in community activities and programs. As an example, the Blackie Brown Community Arts Festival and the upcoming Festival del Antonio. Share marketing information, including brochures and other materials that will expand people's knowledge and understanding of what it is, who we are and what it is that we do. And then collaboration and coordination. Developing relationship with other diverse organizations to align on similar projects, activities that complement the values of Rotary. And then internal collaboration within Bloomington Rotary Club, our own club, to reach out to diverse individuals that would help expand our club, grow our club, and just contribute to its diversity. So with that, I conclude my report, and I really do sincerely hope that everyone contributes and participate in diversifying our organization. Thank you.
Patrick, thank you for your leadership on this. Next, Youth Services, which is an exciting venture with Joy Harder.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me, or is this better? Better? Good. Better. Okay, good. Well, I'm going to talk, hopefully 5 minutes or less. I better talk fast about youth services. Why are youth services important to our club? Youth are our future, are they not? They are our future leaders. We have a vested interest in that. That's all I need to say about that. I do want to introduce the Youth Services Committee. Those that are here, I feel free to stand. Peggy Frisbee is here. Jimmy, is Jimmy online? Darn, because this is Jimmy Torrey Day, because I wanted to give Teachers Warehouse. He's been phenomenal in his efforts that have already been mentioned. So Charlotte Zitlow, Tina Swanson, I don't know that I saw her. Sarah Cochran is here. Caleb Poer, I'm not sure he's here. Wilson Shatandi, and James Wolf. So thank you very much to our Youth Services Committee. And as I said, I give my $5 to Jimmy for his efforts. And do come out and see us both. We will be at the Fiesta del Otoño on Saturday at the Switchyard Park, I think from 12 to 2 or 12 to 3. So please come out, we'll have a Rotary table there. As Ron said, so much is happening in the realm of youth services. I don't even know where to start, quite honestly. But I will start by saying, for those of you that aren't familiar with what falls under the umbrella of youth services, that includes the IU Rotaract Club being a mentor and support to the Rotaract Club, which I will remind you is now in and of itself its own Rotary Club, but the Bloomington clubs essentially offer support and guidance. There is the Bloomington North High School Interact Club that is up and running. There, of course, is RYLA, that stands for Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. I'll say more about all of these programs. Much has already been said about the Rotary Youth Exchange and how our club has a really strong desire and energy to bring that back into full force. And then lastly, there's what's called the Rotary District 6580 four-way test speech contest that Tim Jessen has been involved with and others, and I'll say a little bit more about that. So a few words about Rotaract. They are on fire. I'm so proud of that. I feel like a proud mama when I think about Rotaract. The executive board, Ethan and the 4 young men who are the executive board, attended the district assembly, as was already mentioned, and they gained a lot of knowledge. They are so eager to engage with Rotarians, more than I've ever seen in any group of Rotaractors. And so it's just wonderful. Hopefully they will start attending on a regular basis our weekly club meeting, so you'll have a chance to meet them. They had a very successful call out meeting last week. They have a whole host of volunteer opportunities lined up. They will help at the Rotary Toast. They plan to volunteer at Teachers Warehouse. They're going to help at RILA. They have just a numerous list of events that they are and activities that they're going to support. If you're ever interested in attending a Rotaract meeting, they meet on Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. in the Woodburn Hall at IU. I love it when, I think it's so much, it's something little we can do if you ever had an evening where you had time to just go and be there and be in support of them. They love when they have guests. So then there's RILA, the Rotary Youth Leadership. It's essentially what it is. It's coming up on October 20th through the 22nd. It is an incredible youth leadership training program for high school students. And in the past years, pre-COVID, we had up to 80 participants of high school students from around the district that would attend RILA. It is a weekend of adventure learning and learning by doing. It's really a growth opportunity for high school students. Lauren Snyder is the chair, district chair of that. And this year, our club is sponsoring 4 students to participate. And I'm going to say their names because we already know who they are. One is Alyssa Barnes. She is a senior at Bloomington North, and she went last year. So she's a returning student. And we love when students return because then they have a greater role at RILA for the students who haven't partaken. Marilyn Ballard, and she is the granddaughter of Dick McKeag. And she is a senior at Edgewood High School. And then we have 2 international students who are living with Tracy Jovanovic and her family, Timur Kadyrov, who is from Uzbekistan, and then Jane Blessman, who is from Germany, will be attending RILA, and our club pays the cost for them to attend. And then lastly, you heard much about Rotary Youth Exchange and the interest in bringing that back to the forefront for our club. What I will add to that, and Alon mentioned, that we are interested in forming what we're going to call a task force, a Bloomington Youth Exchange Task Force. So you don't have to be on the Youth Exchange Committee, or the Youth Services Committee. You don't have to be on the International Committee. If you're out there and you have an interest in partaking in the conversation about bringing youth exchange back to our club, then let me know, because we're going to meet soon and continue the conversations so that we're more focused and invite members from the other Bloomington clubs to be a part. Rotary Youth Exchange is one of the gems of Rotary, but it doesn't happen with just one person. It does take a team to do it. And so I encourage you to reach out to me if you're interested in that. I mentioned Bloomington North Interact. They have their call out meeting in a few weeks. And then lastly, the 4-way test speech contest. If you're interested in more on that, I have a brochure on that, as well as a brochures on the Rotary Youth programs that I'll leave at the table, the back table where Natalie is, that you can grab. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Joy, for your leadership on this committee. She's also an assistant district governor, so she has a district role too, which is just outstanding. Last but not least, our communications committee. We have quite a footprint in this community, and our communication committee helped get this word out. So, Mr. Technology, Alon Barker.
Thanks again. It was so great, Patrick, when you were talking about communications, my ears were just ringing and I was thinking, okay, there we go. So it's great that everybody, that we're talking about both what this means to us as an organization, as individuals, and how passionate we are in our commitment to service and all the projects that we do, which just continue to inspire me beyond measure, and how we can extend that out into the community, both to sort of expand our footprint, expand our impact, but also to celebrate what we do as an organization. I think that certainly in terms of my voyage of discovery and experience in Rotary, it's been a learning curve, and it's been a point at which I feel that my relationship to Rotary has shifted dramatically through the years. I mean, each year I'm just blown away by what's happening around me and very inspired. But then I realize more and more that this really is becoming a core part of what I am in Bloomington. And I think it's appropriate, therefore, that we celebrate it, that we share it, that we tell our friends. And one of the most important ways to do that is to use our communications platforms, to use Facebook, to use Instagram, to use LinkedIn, or whatever we have, to be able to share that out. So I'm putting out a call now to all of you and to invite you to get more involved in sharing what we do as an organization. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to share screen and show you once again, just to remind you where we are in the sort of the ether space. And I'm going to take this down here, put this here, and I'm going to move this away. How's that, Tyler? Am I doing well here? Is it working? Okay, good. So as you know, there are two Facebook spaces that we run as an organization. One is what we call a public Facebook page. And the public Facebook page is for us to make general announcements to the public, to welcome our new members, to celebrate initiatives that we do, and to really sort of get the word out on an official level of what we do. And if you ever want to post anything on our official page, just let me know and I'll make sure that it gets there. So this is the Facebook page. We like to share major upcoming events, all of our guests and initiatives and what have you that we have. So that's the Facebook page. The Facebook group is our opportunity as a club and anybody who belongs to this club. So it's not necessarily restricted to just members of our club, but anybody who's a good friend, for instance, the district leadership, or the Bloomington Rotary Clubs across here, or friends of ours in Palo Alto, or anywhere else, anybody who's sort of part of our extended family that we feel we want to be able to share information with as a group, that's what we do. And any one of you who is a member of this group can post at any time about anything. So I really urge you to make sure that you have joined the group and liked the page. Those are the two things that I'm going to ask you to do if you're on Facebook. And it truly is a conversation space. Here's a lovely picture that Sally sent me, for instance, from this past weekend. This is Joy's post that she did from this past weekend, and so on and so forth. So it's a great way for us to keep the juices flowing, keep the energy and excitement about what we're doing through the week on Facebook. At the same time, we have an Instagram page. And likewise, any member of the Instagram page can go ahead and just post and share what we're doing. And then more recently, we've initiated and developed a LinkedIn page. And as you well know, in the professional world, LinkedIn probably is the strongest driver for professional networking and what have you. And so we feel that as a Rotary Club of standing with impact in this community and significance around the world, it would be great for us to have some sort of a presence on LinkedIn. So whatever I post on the Facebook page immediately goes onto our LinkedIn site as well. So look for us on LinkedIn and make sure that you are connected to that as well. We're hoping to build that network. So I'm going to quickly move to, I'm going to jump over something else that I was just going to say, we have a wonderful brochure thanks to Carla Cox-Deckard. We have a giving card that we now have got. We're sort of trying to streamline our image as an organization, and the little flag that we send out to other people will be designed sometime soon. But before I go, before I get the hook, I just want to say that this box site that we use for all of our information is extremely important to us as an organization. Over the past 2 years, what we've done is we've taken the various places that we organize all of our information with the various sort of self-styled places that people have, and we've consolidated what we do into folders. And last year, as an example, the 2022-3 year, we had committees, and within committees, we had all of the committee folders, and they were used significantly by any number of committee chairs and members. And so for this year, what we've done is we've got exactly the same structure. We basically have our 23-24 folder, which has the committee folder within it, and within the committees are folders for every single one of the committees to use. And so I'm going to urge you to please get used to it, because once you're used to Box, it's incredibly easy to use. It's just a click of a mouse and you're in the files and you can use everything that everybody else is sharing. So I'm here to help you get there. I will send you a reminder on email about how to get there. And if you have any questions, please, please, please reach out and let me help you get to Box. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Alon. I use that box daily. And again, he set that up for us and it's a wonderful tool. I'd like to have all the committee chairs that are in the room today to stand because the committees are the backbone of this club, as you can tell. Please stand to be recognized by our members. Again, thank you for your leadership to Rotary. I do want to thank some people that make this meeting successful. Our greeter, Hannah Hirsch. Thank you, Hannah. Introductions, Sally Gaskell. Zoom host, Kyla Cox-Deckard. Reflection, John Diltz. Reporter, Jim Bright. Camera operator, Tracy Jukvanovic. And our Zoom and audio producer, Tyler Martin Nichols. And I also want to recognize Natalie because she works behind the scenes all the time to make this club work. We have an exciting program for you next week. Charles Pierce from the Mill will speak on why creativity is good for business. That ought to be a pretty interesting session. So Tyler, will you pull up the four-way test? We'll stand and say the four-way test together. Four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it truth? Second, of concern. Third, will build goodwill and better friendship. Fourth, will be beneficial to all. And fifth, is it fun?